Hi, it's Krista at The Secret Yarnery. Welcome to Crochet Podcast, episode 179. Welcome back to everyone who's been here before and to everybody new. Hi, my name is Krista. This is My Secret Yarnery, and this channel is all about crochet, goodness, fun, and making things just as super easy as they can possibly be. So if that sounds good to you, hit that subscribe button down below. Today, I have a lot of jam-packed goodness in here. Stay tuned to the end. It's going to be fantastic. There's always bloopers at the end also, unless I nail it today, which is very slim chances of that. So thanks so much for popping over. It is 2026. I am really excited for this year. I'm so glad it started. It is like I'd tell you the date if I could, but it's like mid-January. And I'm super excited to start Crochet Alongs. Did I say an S at the end? Yes, two. There are three, actually. Three Crochet Alongs. Well, kind of. Anyway, I'm just right into it, and I think it's going to be really fun. So the first one, which has been much requested from you all, but we are doing it longer, bigger, better, badder. So it is the year of the Crochet Granny. So that's granny squares, granny stitches, anything to do with granny, and we're doing it for the year. So anything that you want to make, bags, hats, blankets, scarves, everything you can make with grannies. Emotional support chicken. I know that has been requested for a long time. Everything to do with granny we are going to be doing this year. So it's not so much high pressure or stress. If you want to partake in the Crochet Along, just check on Sundays for the new tutorial or the podcast, which is usually on Wednesdays before. And also there is a newsletter, which is where I'm going to be putting out the sneak peeks this year. So if you want to see what's happening for the project coming up on Sunday, I'll be sending that out on Thursdays. So go ahead and subscribe to my newsletter for that, so you have all your supplies ready. And so that's the tutorials on the Sunday. We are also going to be making one granny square from each type color of yarn we're using this year. And then in 2027, we're going to join them all together to make a blanket. And it'll kind of be like a memory of what happened in 2026, all the great things you made. So whatever size granny square you make from your scraps, I have some scraps of yarn from my latest whip I'm going to be showing you. And I'm just going to make them into hopefully the same size granny square. If not, I'm going to make them into the size granny square that I can. Maybe like a 4-round or a 5-round. You can decide for you how big you want your granny squares to be. If you are a prolific crocheter, you probably want to make smaller granny squares because you'll have a lot of granny squares to make into a blanket. And if you're new and starting out, you might want to do larger granny squares because you might not get through as much yarn as the rest of us or as some of us, which is absolutely fine. Everybody, you do your thing. You are also welcome to just make a small blanket. If you just have a few squares, you can make a small blanket or a throw. And if you have a lot of squares, you can obviously make a huge blanket or even two. So one granny square from each type color of yarn you're going to use this year. And that's just a side project in the background. We'll be working on that in 2027. So making squares this year, 2027, joining them into a blanket. If you want to partake in that, something to keep track of. Also, if you didn't catch the last podcast, if you're new to the channel, I am keeping my yarn labels in this basket right there to keep track of how many kilometers, how many yards or meters of yarn I'm going to get through this year. If you don't have yarn labels on your yarn, then just kind of guesstimate on a scrap piece of paper and toss it in there. We're just gonna, this is for fun, just to see how much, hi motorbike. Okay, just to keep track of how much yarn or estimate how much yarn we've used in a whole year. So that's interesting. I don't even know how much. I was going to go through my patterns and just add up how much yarn I used for each pattern because I do have that written like on the table of contents. But then I realized I'd probably have to double that because I make so many mistakes when I'm designing. Not mistakes. I learned so much from the designing process that I've probably gone through a ton more yarn that is on my yarn labels. But I'm just going to be keeping track of that this year, and you're welcome to join me in that as well. Plus, like that wasn't enough going on, there is a mystery cal coming up for March to May. So March, April, May, a mystery cal. Now it's not a mystery cal like you're working on it and you're not going to know what it is. I'm going to tell you that it's kind of like a mystery theme, and I am so excited about it. I'm so excited. Like I found yarn for it yesterday, and it's like all I want to do is start that mystery cal. I'm really excited. So it's kind of like a topic, a theme, all these great things. Like it's still going to be like one project a week. You can do the project if you like it. You can skip it if you don't like it. And it is going to be like a whole library. It's a library topic, and I'm excited about it. So we're doing Year of the Granny, but from March to May, we're taking a little hiatus and doing some other things. There are grannies included in that mystery cal, but it is not 100% granny. It is going to be, I'm very excited about it. So that is coming up as well. Now, do mystery cals scare you, or do cals in general scare you? Let me know in the comments. I have done, well, let me tell you about my experience with cals. You tell me about yours in the comments down below. I love a good crochet along because it kind of keeps you motivated. It helps you decide what you're going to crochet that year. It gives you like an end goal, what you're going to get out of it. And I love working towards that goal. I have done a couple big ones. The last one I did was in 2023. So it has taken me 3 years to get over the stress of that cal, but it was so worth it, and I'm so proud of it. That is, yes, the Bloomscape cal. That was a 3D granny square, a 3D flower granny square each month that you could, we joined into a blanket. So 12 different flower granny squares, all 3D, all fantastic, all with the same stitch count. It was I loved it. It was a great challenge, but it was also stressful. And it had like for me, it had a deadline to it because I needed to have a video out. I needed to come up with a pattern every month. So by the end of it was, and still like make them easy enough for you. There is one more flower granny square, actually. We should do that for Granny Square, Year of the Granny. I did make a Jabera or a Gerbera, depending on how you pronounce it. Tell me in the comments. But I was like, you had to slip stitch back into the chain. And I was like, that might be too complicated for some people, blah. It is so beautiful. I thought I filmed it. Well, I did film it, but then I threw out the footage because that's fun. But I did write down the pattern so I can redo that one. It's gorgeous. So we can do that at some point this year as well. I got to write that down. I need a piece of paper. So Year of the Granny, super excited about it. What do you want to make for Year of the Granny? Do you have a granny project that you've wanted to make for a long time? I've heard a lot about sweaters, heard a lot about blankets. What would you like? There's a couple bags I've wanted to make, like 3 or 4 bags. I think I do still have well, it's not here, in my UFO cabinet, which is unfinished objects. I do have an Elspeth bag, a clutch bag that I started. Love to do that one. There's just so many things I'd like to do with granny squares. So what would you like to do with grannies? Let me know in the comments, and we can include it at some point, hopefully, in Year of the Granny. Now moving on to crochet news. Is there news? Yes, there is. So well, let me just back up a little bit. I do not watch other crochet channels as I kind of stopped a few years ago. Not because I don't love them. I love y'all. But I don't want, well, I got some comments being like, oh, you copied so-and-so, or you copied so-and-so, or so-and-so did this. And I just don't want to be inspired by other channels just for plagiarism. Like, I don't want to take your idea. So I just kind of keep my little blinders on, mind my own business, think of what I want to do, think how to make it easier, and then just do it a few times until it is easier. So this weekend, there was a YouTuber from the States here that my kids knew. They were like, oh my gosh, he's here. And they were like, can we watch it? Can we watch it? So I had like 2 kids, each on their phones, watching this live stream of a gentleman in Nairobi going around and stuff. And I was like, well, you can just watch it on the TV. So I put on the TV, put on his stream. Kids were watching it. It was quite interesting. His name's I Show Speed. Like, I show speed. Y'all probably know. I don't know. It's me. So we were watching that, and then that had my YouTube opened up. Anyway, a suggested video came up, after. And it was from someone I hadn't seen before, but y'all should check it out. It was Chic Chick Crochet. So chick chick crochet or chic chic crochet. Now, this was a video. It said 17 crochet channels you should watch now or something like that. And I was like, oh my goodness, like that's interesting. I did a video about that, like the same kind of topic way back in the day. And I went to look for it, but I think it was a live stream and I think I deleted it. So that was like great. That was like Granny D and Set His Place and Z, my girl Z. So it was like way back in the day when these channels were just starting out, other than Z. She'd been around for a while. But I loved doing that. And then I was like, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea. So I watched hers, and there was so many content creators, crochet content creators that I had not heard of that are making great things and doing neat things. So go and check out her video. And she also mentioned Secret Yarnery.
Are you wondering who the most creative crocheters are out there right now? Let's get to it. I'm Beth, and this is Summer, and we are Chic Chic Crochet.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I was like, I actually paused, I rewound, and I went to get my daughter. I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to see this. And then my daughter was like, oh, that's so nice. It was so nice. So thank you so much, Beth, for that, because that really made my day. Also got me thinking, like a then and now, you know, where you were then and where you are like in the future, because it's very interesting. Oh, like Holly the Pepper Pineapple, like we started at the same time. So I mean, you know, it's one of those things. It's like a bigger community, and I feel like I unplugged myself from the bigger community, and I don't know. I kind of think like it's time to jump back into the community. So let me know about that, and if you have a crochet channel, let me know in the comments. If you can like link it in the comments, I can pop over and check you out, and then we can just compile like a list. I was thinking of doing the same kind of thing, but what I want to do, because obviously you can't mention everybody. There's like, you know, there's an infinite number of great content creators out there. You have to narrow it down. So I would do like 5 per subject, I'm thinking. And then a certain number, like people below this number of subscribers, people above that number of subscribers, so that it's like a balance of everything. Which I think would be great, because I found it so informative to find all of these channels that I didn't know anything about. It had a lot of amigurumi channels, and I'm not really into amigurumi, but if there was a same kind of list, such a great idea for like, if you're into blankets, if you're into clothing, if you're into decor, like household items, if you are into amigurumi. So kind of making it into like categories and then limiting the numbers per, what do you call it? Per category, and just kind of coming up with best of the best or new of the new. So I thought that was really fun, but go check out her video. It's linked down below. And that totally like made my day. That like recharged my batteries. Now I have a whip alert, work in progress. Now, picking colors. Okay, this is another question I get a lot. It's like, how do you pick colors? How do you choose the colors you choose? With great trial and experimentation. It is not the simplest thing, but I'm going to be doing, I think the next video I'm going to do is all about like how I pick colors, especially color of the year, and like how you can get color of the year going for your palette and for what you want to do. So that is going to be in an upcoming video. But I did pick colors for my new whip. So I wanted kind of a rainbowy theme, but I didn't want pink. I don't know. I love pink. I love pink. But in my projects now, I feel like it's a nicer rainbow without the pinks or reds. Just kind of start from orange. So I'm already halfway done. This was another question I got a lot, is like, how do I size your Perfect Start Granny Square Scarf into a larger project? And I hadn't answered the questions because I don't know. Well, I do know now, but like, I don't know. Like I got it working for that scarf and like the night before, and I filmed it and like put the video out. So like I didn't have time to like research it and, you know, figure it out for like for an all-encompassing tutorial. It was a tutorial for a scarf. So now this is a tutorial for a blanket and it's so soft. I love it. Any size. I think it's Softly Baby. That's why. Oh, this is favorite. This is Softly Baby. This is favorite. Any size blanket or item you want to make. So this tutorial is going to be coming out this weekend. I have to finish it. So like that's pressure, right? But I got the colors. Let me see if I can fold it a bit so you can get a feel for the colors. Put that in. And then in between each color, there we go. In between each color, I'm doing 2 rows of white just to kind of freshen it up. The other thing I'm doing is 6 balls of yarn plus the white, and I'm just crocheting until the ball yarn until I've completed all the rows I can with that color. If there's not enough to get back across, then it's finished. I'm not going to count rows and make sure each row is the same number. I'm just going to use the yarn. And then the scraps that are left over, granny square. Granny square. So it's going to be a smaller granny square, but granny squares with the scraps. So that is my work in progress. Super excited about it. Oh, if you have ideas for hashtags for our crochet along, let me know. Until then, we're just going to be using hashtag Secret Yarnery 2026 because it'll just kind of categorize it. And then next year we'll do 2027 and then we'll know what we were doing that year and all that stuff. But if you have a better idea for crochet hashtags, for Cal hashtags, let us know in the comments. This tutorial, I love it. Like when I'm done talking with y'all, I am going to finish this up. Oh, another question. See, I think I'm talking too much today, but another question I get, this should probably be a different video, but from all the questions I get a lot of questions of like, how long will it take me to crochet blank? Well, blank depends on how much yarn you're going to use and how much yarn and how long it takes you to crochet 1 ball of yarn. So my challenge for you, which I might repeat in another video because I think it's a great idea. This spring, get a ball of yarn or like start a brand new ball of yarn. Just set a stopwatch on your phone or look at what time it is and just crochet up that ball of yarn. If you stop, you wait for another day, just like stop the timer or write down how many minutes that was that day and just add it up of how many minutes it took you to finish that 1 ball of yarn. I remember when I was starting crocheting, like as an adult, it took, when I finished a ball of yarn in an afternoon, I was like, oh my God, angels were singing. I was so excited. I'm like, I can do a ball of yarn. Before then, I was like, a ball of yarn is going to take me 3 years. Like I only need 2 balls of yarn because, I never thought I could crochet in a day a ball of yarn, let alone in an afternoon. So I don't know how long it would take me now, but I might time myself today. And then maybe in the next podcast, we can be like, hey, how long did it take you? Because that is of interest. And that also helps you calculate how long a project is going to take you to do. So for the challenge, I would just do double crochets or granny stitch or, just something simple. And then if it's a more complicated pattern, add yourself some time for like reading the instructions, following the pattern, pausing the video, like all that stuff. But it'll give you a good idea of how long it'll take you to crochet a project just based on how much yarn that project needs. Right. So let me know if you're going to do that in the comments. And next is question of the day. So question of the day is, what project do you want to make or would you make or do you want to make or are you interested in or do you like that is a granny stitch or a granny square? What would your dream project be, or what do you want to do first? What's urgent, and what's your dream project using granny squares or granny stitches? Let me know in the comments. And thank you so much for inviting me over. Don't forget to subscribe if you are still here. And I'm super excited to see you in the next video. Stay hooked. Oh, wait, there's bloopers. Then that video, and then stay hooked. I got to start crocheting on this. I'm so excited. Oh my gosh, I forgot to tell you about live chats. We are changing it a bit. So instead of every Friday, because that's just a bit tough, decades on, we're going to do first Friday and last Friday of the month. And we're going to do topics. Do you remember topics? If you've been watching for a long time, we would like discuss something, I'd ask you questions, and we would have just such a great conversation, learn so much from each other. And now I feel it's just been like, oh, it's Friday, let's go and talk, like just kind of hanging out in the garden, doing whatever. But I want to get back to like asking questions and learning from you. That's my whole goal of 2026. So first and last Friday of the month for a topic. So you can also let me know what topics you'd like to talk about in the live chat or like, what kind of thing like this. Oh, I'm running up the stairs. I went to get Fruit Loops. Now, do you want to hear something funny? I got Fruit Loops as like a gift for one of my kids because it's imported cereal. It's like $40 or something silly. So it's like not what we live on. They've never had Fruit Loops before. My kid doesn't like Fruit Loops. I'm like, are you serious right now? Fruit Loops are candy. Like, I don't like them with milk, but I got a little baby bowl of Fruit Loops. So good. I won't eat them right now. So this topic, or the topic for this Friday, is going to be, what do you want to talk about? You can also jumpstart that right here and then join us on Friday and see how it goes. So this Friday, I know it's not the last Friday of the month, but I feel like I got to let everybody know. So I'm letting everybody know, but also we're doing a chat this Friday just to, ease into it. And then first and last Friday of every month for a topic live stream chat community hangout. So let me know what you think about that in the comments. And now, okay, now you can do the bloopers. I'm gonna go eat my dry Fruit Loops. Okay, this is Crochet Podcast episode 179. Okay, I'm excited. What I am going to challenge myself with, and you are welcome to join me in theme of Year of the Crochet Granny, is every ball of yarn, not every ball of yarn, every color, like every type of yarn you're going to use, every color of every type, like whatever balls of yarn you're using. You don't need to make one ball from every granny, you don't need to make, okay, I better start again. Good, great. I'm also going to be, no, it's not me, it's us.